Hello, everyone. Asaf Katz here with Vendict, and with me today in GRC Talks, Fabrizio Degni. He's an AI governance and ethics expert, and he leads AI and digital transformation in Italy's national agency for AI, and he also serves as the president of the Italy Chamber of Global Council and responsible for AI. Also, he's a researcher at the Politecno di Milano and focuses on ethical and regulation frameworks for emerging markets. So, if there's anyone who is thinking about uh, the ethical aspects of AI, it's Fabrizio. So, Fabrizio, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for this space, Fat.
Brilliant. Fabrizio, so we connected primarily because of a post that you've made on LinkedIn talking about a framework that maps out the major risks and concerns with generative AI, and that post was quite popular. And I would love to hear from you. What sort of made you write and be vocal about this?
Yeah, I believe uh, for those of us involved in the daily technology and frontier innovation, before to be hyped or enthusiast for the progress we see on daily basis, we should be scared of what we don't see or what nobody speak about because everything has pro and cons. And if from a side they are benefit, we should ask which one is the cost. Nothing in the life is free,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And for the cost we are paying to innovate on the AI front, I believe we should question each one if it is really worthy.
So what are some of the costs that you're seeing that we're paying right now? I'm reading a lot, and I'm seeing a lot of predictions around what might happen. What do you think we're already seeing?
There is a wonderful study, it's called the 2027 AI. Maybe we can later share with the people,
Hmm.
where some researcher did some hypothesis for what could be this endless run to the AGI. AGI and ASI are the two steps forward the any, where we are currently now, where we are supposed to have an intelligence with the same capabilities of the humans and with the super intelligence with the capabilities over humans. Now,
Hmm.
just this comparison is pretty freaky because how you can compare the human mind, we still don't know how it works, with something we are trying to compare with a different domain. No? Just this is strange. Okay, let's put on the same table. No?
Hmm.
Humans live inside a context. What we are is what we feel. Every day we are different. Every moment we feel different because we are all of us. It's not just Brian. His sense, his memories, his maybe emotion, his empathy. It's millions of stuff that's happening in the same moment. And from the other side, we have an artificial intelligence try to mesh us in the mechanical activities. Okay, but now the next step is to use artificial intelligence exactly as a pro.
Hmm.
There are many applications already able to be like your psychologist. So, oh, you see recently, so a big company is planning to have inside the toys AI
Hmm.
capabilities or skills. This
Hmm.
is pretty dangerous because, in my opinion, we don't have any study on the long-term effect of this. When you look at the healthcare and there are some medicine to distribute, before to go on
Hmm.
the market, you wait
You do
years.
some studies, you do research. Yeah.
Yeah, you wait years because it's not immediate. Maybe after 2, 3 years, something happen. But if you don't have this delay decantation time, like the wine, if you don't have the time to understand what's happened, you simply get the side effect. And the side effects are unexpected. Now, you understand, it's like every day we have like a gun, because we are many companies on the same research fields, and there is no a global policy or regulation or way, we can say ethical way to approach on the research.
Hmm. So I think it's a really interesting point. I mean, we mentioned toy designers adding AI, and it sounds like a great product. I mean, I've got kids who'd be pretty cute to see my daughter playing with a doll that she can talk to, and maybe it could help her or teach her things. But obviously, it would also collect a lot of data and information that I probably not probably I definitely don't want to be out there. So, you know, what do you think? Okay, let's say there's a designer, a toy company out there is probably working on it. What do they actually need to do right now? Can they just release a toy like that that's maybe connected to OpenAI, and then everything that the child interacts goes online? Is there anything now preventing them or limits what they can do? Like today, I'm talking about recording this in July 25. Is there anything preventing them or limits them in any sorts of way?
My opinion, because this is a simple, my opinion, the time are not ready. There is a time for everything. This time is not the time. Simple that. We cannot enforce something because the market or the people want that, because this is another problem, no?
Hmm.
Why everything go? Because there is someone ask. And this problem is like a dependency. There is a phenomenon, it's called the FOMO, fear of missing out. You must be. If you are not there, you are not. And this is the same with now this chat, but everybody chat. If you don't chat, you are a loser, or you are something with less opportunity from your side than another. But this is not true at all. And
Even more so. I mean, even you see all the CEOs that are basically telling their employees you have to use AI or you're not going to be here because they expect higher productivity from their staff.
correct, but
Yeah.
the I like to say the AI is not the solution. It's like a tool, as many others we already have. If you have
Hmm.
not a clear idea which one are the problem, which one is the method, which one is the process behind what you wanna fix, you cannot simply expect, okay, I get the AI inside, it will be fixed at once. Not at all.
Got it.
Because if you want to onboard the AI in your process, you must be aware you need first to have a process of assessment of your resources, no? Just to see some technical aspect like oversharing of the files. People see only what they can see, nothing more. And the data are good quality, because if the data are not in the good, or you are not the way to collect in the digital way the data, AI can do very poor on
Hmm.
that, or can do a side effect, no? Because companies now are trying to shift from a human approach to data-driven approach. Okay, allora you cannot trust people in data, because at the end you must decide or data or people. Okay, let's move to data. You focus all your business on data, but if you don't have a core strategy on the data, oh, it become a problem because
Hmm.
you know exactly the garbage in, garbage out. If the data are not good, the output cannot be different. So,
So I want to just make sure and it says really because of your work with maybe we can talk specifically about Italy, but I assume uh, you understand the European framework. Europe has been fairly fast in the past for adopting privacy laws, GDPR, I think in 2018, and it was always fairly advanced. Even with fines and enforcement, do you see the same approach being taken right now? I mean, if I'm an operator, if I'm a software company in Italy, uh, are there any guidelines or limitations or laws, or even policies that have been implemented that forces me maybe as a software company to act differently with my AI capabilities?
I believe in Italy, but also in the other countries in Europe, this is enforced because we have authority and we have
Hmm.
the famous European Regulation Act, where company have some mandatory steps to follow up. So you must respect the rule. I am more impressed outside the Europe, where there
Hmm.
is not this regulation. Because the problem, and this is really my opinion, is not Europe as regulation, is other country as not. Cioè, it's not the problem
Hmm.
company are troubled to jump in Europe because it's a market where you must be. No, no, it's the opposite the reason. All the country must be rule with the rule and in this way, you have also a way to have a competitive market. No? Otherwise,
Hmm.
the company Europe, what they do? They should be limited because they follow the rule of the policies and the other ones not. We speak about ethics, principles, and that one. It's clear ethical and moral are related to countries and the cultural aspect. But there are some basic principle should be for everybody
Hmm.
the same. We cannot really live in a country, in a world where everywhere someone has something different to say.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's really interesting when we have it's like there's now the new set of capabilities of what companies can do very easily, very fast. Uh, and you're right, it's not just about a company that is operating in Italy. It's actually, could be a company in Costa Rica. They launch a software and it has users in Italy and in Europe. They have to comply with these rules. But it also that it's not going to be easy for Europe to enforce rules on them. So then it's the ethical aspects of what guides the company owners uh, to operate ethically. That's the challenge. And I can tell my personal view. I think that we're in a capitalistic environment, and there's a race, like you said. There's a FOMO of how do we take this opportunity and grow as fast as we can right now and break rules and do what we need uh, to be the best AI company, the fastest growing AI company. And I think it presents a real challenge. I want to take the conversation to one of the things that you mentioned, which is around uh, uh, bias and discrimination. So, and how models are inherently designed to actually amplify the biases that we have. And I've seen it for my personal use when, even if you want to generate an image of a woman, it's always going to be a very pretty woman. It's always going to be a woman that kind of meets the constructs of, the modern Western standards of beauty, and I think that's and I think that probably within itself is enforcing it. But what examples are you seeing in that AI is amplifying biases and cultural discrimination?
Yeah, I totally agree with your mind, really. And this is another problem because model are not trained with the specific data set according to the engineer collected or the business required to use this specific data set with the specific features and the specific weight. There are many parameters, mostly we are not aware of. The famous black box
Mm,
effect. So we have already data set collected and aligned according to some principle. Then there is the part related to the training. And this is pretty interesting because the training is related to who trained the model. So if I am some attitude for what I can be rigorous or strict on that, I have an opinion. I am human. For that, when I interact with the chatbot, I'm not talking with someone agnostic despite the topic. It's already with the position. There is a famous test did with the release of DeepSeek when they try to ask to DeepSeek and the Western models same question. So same question, totally different perspective. But the problem is people are not aware this is a perspective. They think this is the answer, and this very different. Is a
mm.
point of view.
It's actually kind of like humans, right? If you ask one expert what is the answer for a question, they will give you the answer that they feel based on their entire life experience. You ask another expert, they're going to give you, and they're always going to say it with confidence as if this is the one true answer, right? So maybe in that
Yeah, but
respect,
this one in
AI
compute is a computer, no? You are a human. This is a
yeah.
computer. Computer is no opinion. It's super partes, but it's not that.
Hmm. So maybe let's take it a bit more practically. Let's say that I'm the chief risk officer or chief information security officer, and I handle the governance in my company. Uh, what do you think is my biggest challenge now? What do you think is really where I would get stuck or I would need to put in a focus on?
Uh, okay. There are many things you must be aware of, and you should look at because as first, I believe you cannot handle everything. In the company, you must have a filter with the request. And the first filter is why you need AI. Which one is the scope of your job? What do you want to do in this process? Because most of the time, AI is not required. Or AI, which AI? Machine learning, deep learning, generative AI. So every level need different guardrails and effort and time. For that, the first request and the first filter is before to put the hands on this is the last step. Okay, let's be clear of the business requirement, the functional, non-functional domain requirement, all the things related to the process. They involve stakeholders, who is accountable, who is responsible, must be something inside the process. Cannot be simple. The request, please check if the system is compliant, if there is something we must be careful about, because, and you know that, AI is cross-domain. In the company, it's not only about one single stakeholder, it's an operation to be followed by HR, ICT compliance, human resource, okay, we say before, legal, of course, and the one related to the IT for the
Hmm.
infrastructure, no? Because another problem is, okay, company come with the AI solution, but the AI solution is inside an infrastructure. Okay, let's do first the assessment of the infrastructure you propose to support the business with your AI activity. Because AI is not run inside somewhere, and people now in your somewhere, because they think only to the last mile, the AI.
That's actually, I think, an incredibly important point because as a chief information security officer or risk officer, I can really audit what I have access to, which, like you said, is the last mile. It's whatever vendor maybe I'm buying from, but it's a black box. I don't really have visibility on the whole supply chain of
Yeah, correct, correct.
yeah. So it's also incredibly limited in what I can do. I would use a tool that is using AI. I can ask them where you store your your LLM. Maybe do you run it on an independent closed server, but I don't really know, and I have no way of auditing this. No way of auditing. How would I ever know? All I see is the text output. It's not even with code where I can audit your code. Maybe if they let me, if I maybe it's a very big enterprise deal, they would let you do that. But if I sign up to a new tool with a free trial, and I give it access now to my Google Drive, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where it's
They
going.
steal all your data and training the models. Yeah, it's serious. It's serious problem, and I believe we are not really taking care of the side effect of all of that.
So as first, it's super interesting. I think there's a lot of things to think about here. In your work, what are you focusing on right now
A
to deal with
governance
the regulators?
of the process with the colleague and monitoring of the market on the trend and supporting a business and a project where someone asks about the AI, and most of the time we say, okay, maybe you can do without.
Interesting. So, based on what you're seeing right now, let's wrap it up with the last question. I'm very curious to see because you're seeing the regulation right now. You're seeing what companies are doing, and you're seeing what steps are actually being taken to limit the risk. Where do you think we're going to be 6 to 12 months from now?
Future
Yeah.
are the question. So, according to Sam Altman, within July we should have GPT-5. So,
Hmm.
this GPT-5 should be something near the AGI.
Hmm.
uh, Global market and government on the same table and think ethically and on the governance perspective, how they can speak on the same language, it will become everyday competition. And the competition is something I believe don't pay anyone, really, don't pay anyone.
Fabrizio Degni, thank you so much for your time and insights. It's been super interesting, and I've read the white paper that you posted, and I strongly recommend anyone dealing with this, even if you're just curious to see what is done and what is really the risk. I think there's so many aspects that are so under discussed and should get a lot more attention, and it's coming up very very fast. So we need to see what's happening, and I think the solution is not something that's going to come solely from governments and countries. It's going to need to come from companies themselves deciding to develop ethically, to build things responsibly, to be more transparent in how they do things, and also to be transparent in what they don't know, um, because their users need to be aware of what they don't know, right? It's like it's okay to say, it should be okay to say, actually, there's a part of our system that works, and we don't exactly know how. I know it's a very uncomfortable thing to say, but I think it's probably important to do that. Fabrizio, would that be okay if our listeners contact you over LinkedIn if they have
Yeah,
questions
of
they want
course.
to follow up?
Of course. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.